So what we're going to do today is talk about composable or distributed solutions, and I'm going to use commerce, online shopping sort of experiences as a vehicle to illustrate alternate approaches in a problem I see happen all the time. Uh, I'll set the stage here. Someone listened to a podcast about the Mock Alliance or read some marketing materials or got hyped up on a conference or something, and they say, hey, we've got this sort of legacy clunky system that is a monolith. We want to split it up into microservices. And part of the selling point is, well, we can get this massive scale, there we can deploy things independently, and it's all good. What I see happen though is, in this example, so we split cart and product apart. Two different databases, two sets of services running on different infrastructure. And, the browse experience works great, can look at product, has nothing to do with cart. So, if cart goes down, doesn't matter because product's still up. Caching, all kinds of cool stuff. And then you want to add a product to your cart. And you add that product to your cart and you go, well, wait a minute. I can't trust the data that I got from the browser because, a savvy user could manipulate the price or whatever else is in the product data. So I need to go look it up in the product API. And there's sort of two models I've seen here. One is you call the API. I would generally say if you're going to go down that path, call the API. Do not go straight to the database. That's going to cause other problems. But the short version is cart now depends on product to just do its basic operations. Even though potentially the browser could have sent it everything it needed to do its job, because you can't trust the data you get from the browser, you have to do a second verification. And there's a fairly well-known solution to this. Uh, and I just think folks get a little bit excited about decoupling things and having, I can have a cart team, I can have a, browse and search team, that they forget, well, wait, there's still a dependency, right? The cart still needs to know it's got valid product data. So you bring the product, if it's the product system is kind of slowing down a little bit, your cart's going to be impacted. And the answer is just sign the doggone payload and have the browser send the data to the cart. And how that works is when the browser goes to look for a product or gets the product details, product thing goes and looks in its database and says, oh, here it is. And then it signs that with a key known to both cart and product. So there is some key management. There's some other security implications here. And then it sends that result back to the browser. Now, at that point, the browser, even if someone manipulated the payload, unless they had the private key or some sort of quantum computing thing that could break AES, the browser can just send the data to the cart, and the cart can validate whether it was tampered with or not. Wasn't tampered with. It's like, well, I don't need to call product because product signed it. I used the key we shared to validate the signature against the data in the payload. I'm good to go. I can just continue to operate. I don't even care where the product came from. It came from someone with a valid key. Which again, if we start talking about scaling this even bigger, that means now I'm probably digressing a little bit, but what that potentially unlocks is your products could come from multiple places. So if you have a marketplace, you can give each marketplace a signing key, and the cart can say, well, now you do need to share in with the browser, where did this product come from? So you probably wouldn't want to use the same signing key because then product sources could forge each other's product information. But, you have a key per store or brand. Maybe each brand sets up their own product information. At that point, do you even need a product database? Maybe you just have the brands source all that traffic. And yeah, I don't know. There are a number of different ways to sort of solve this problem that don't rely on retailers. Best Buy, for example. Why does Best Buy need a product catalog? They have products that they say they will allow to sell, right? Um, there probably needs to be at least a validation of product identifiers or something like that. But they could theoretically outsource the infrastructure piece of uh, giving the product information to folks browsing the site to someone else. And they can trust that as long as they trust the person that's their source that they gave the key to, they have no dependency at runtime for them. And again, there are tons of problems with that too. I might even mention maybe a public-private asymmetric signing approach, a little more complicated, but that might be warranted in a sort of an open marketplace model. Anyway, my point is this problem of the cart needing to call the product API at runtime, and it needs to be up, it even needs to know where it is, goes away. And I haven't seen a lot of people solve the problem this way. It's not clear to me, and I'd love to hear feedback if there's some fundamental problem with this approach that I don't understand, because this is used in other industries uh, pretty extensively, because there are a lot of situations where, for legal or regulatory reasons or whatever, you need to validate that the data you got came from because it may have gone through a path that there are untrusted third parties in the middle. Maybe public knowledge, but you do need to know that it wasn't tampered with, or anyway, and Jots and other things sort of use this similar approach. Uh, uh, like I said, this is not revolutionary. This has been around for years. But in the particular domain of e-commerce solutions, I don't see this done very often. I'd be curious if anyone is doing it this way. I was a little bit excited, and I'll shout out to Commerce Tools. I thought this was their approach, or like I think Stripe has a sort of a standalone cart. I thought that was the direction folks were going. I was like, well, this is a great idea. And then I looked and like, no, you still need to upload all your product information to them, which is not a horrible approach, but why? Like, it's just more work. Um, this approach, for the most part, solves all your problems without a coupling between the product and the car or an external feed, which is a coupling, but it's not a runtime coupling. Anyway, I'd love to get feedback on this. I've been chewing on this for a while, and I had a client asking about sort of well, not this specifically. They were asking like, how can we extract cart from the rest of the solution? And this, to me, seems like a great approach. I again don't understand why folks aren't doing it. Um, and hopefully, if you've got this problem where you've got dependent things that at runtime you really want to be more independent and not as tightly coupled, this is a way to do it. Anyway, hopefully I was shooting for under 5 minutes. I didn't start a timer, so I have no how long. I have no idea how long this was, but hopefully it was helpful. And again, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. Thanks.